I already filmed this video and it was out of focus, so I'm doing it again. Hello everyone, my name is Cimorelli, and if you don't know who I am in a band with my sisters, and that's the channel that I'm on right now. But we don't usually do story times. That's why I'm saying this, because like new people could be watching this. So hello, I'm Danny, I'm 15, I like watermelon. Yeah, I don't like watermelon that much. Today I'm telling you probably the craziest boy story like that I have at this point in my life. I mean, I'm only 16, so like I'll definitely have a lot more crazy stories to come, but right now this is probably the craziest boy thing that's ever happened to me. Yeah, a lot of you have heard this story, not as in-depth as I'm about to tell you at all, but you've heard the gist of it through our song Before October's Gone, which I wrote most of it and put it on our album. So if you want to listen to that, then I will put the link in the description. But a lot of you know the general story of this, but you haven't heard like in depth. So I'm gonna go into it today. And quick little disclaimer, I'm sorry, I don't want to ramble, but I am not mad. I don't hate this guy. I mean, I'm sure you're watching this. Hi. I have no hard feelings. I'm just telling the story, and when I tell the story, I'm gonna get a little heated, but I'm not mad right now. We're cool. So this story starts in 2014, and it was the end of August, and we were performing at this like festival thingy where a bunch of like internet people, I guess, were performing. We were like waiting to go on like all day because we didn't go on until the nighttime. So towards the beginning of the day, then we got there and we were just walking around, and I kept seeing this boy. And he just like kept looking at me like so much. And he was like super cute. Like, oh my gosh, guys, he was so freaking cute. So I was like, oh, what is this like beautiful boy doing looking at me? Like I was talking about to my sisters. I was like, oh my gosh. He just like kept staring at me. So I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, he keeps looking at me. I'm going to go and talk to him. And I went up to him and I was just like, hey, I'm Danny. It's nice to meet you, because I'm a freaking extrovert. And he was like, hello, I'm gonna call him Travis in this video, even though that doesn't make any sense, but it just popped in my head. He's like, hey, I'm Travis. And I was like, wow, you're really cute. Well, I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. That day, we just like hung out the whole day. It was at a fair, the concert. So like at the end of the day, after he performed and I performed and it was all good, then he and I went on a ride together, like a swing ride, and it was so fun. It was like so magical, like it was so like goals. And I was only 14, like I had just turned 14. So I was like, whoa, what's happening? Like a boy's talking to me, like that never happened to me before. That happened, the fair was over. I went back to my hotel and I was like, hey, like you should come hang out, because we were having dinner in the lobby with a bunch of people from the festival. And so I was like, all right, just come hang out. So he went, and I remember it so vividly. He sat there at this table for like 3 hours just like talking about everything, and it was so magical. Like it was kind of scary and definitely a red flag, because he came on super strong. Like right in the beginning, he was just like complimenting me and like being all like looking at me with these eyes, and I was just like, okay, this is kind of intense, but like I ain't complaining. And then from then on, like since that day, then we talked for like a whole month. Like we talked on the phone every single night for 1 or 2 hours, and it was great. It was like my first thing. He was like the first boy to come out and like compliment me and like be all flirtatious with me, like super flirtatious with me, and be like I like you. He didn't actually say that ever, but like we just like knew, like we liked each other. It was a thing. That went on for a month. We talked on the phone every single night. And then he came to visit LA, where I lived at the time. The first day that we got there, then like he came and like saw me at my music video because I was filming something, so he came and watched and like surprised me. I didn't know he was coming. It was super cute. And then the day after, we had planned to go to Universal Horror Nights. This freaking night, guys. This freaking night. We had planned to go to Horror Nights. If you don't know what Horror Nights is, it's basically just like at Universal City, which is this big like amusement park kind of thing. And you go and you like walk around, and there's all these like scary like exhibits, I guess, where you like, there's like people jumping out at you and like gross things. It's really gross. I don't like it, but like I'd never been before, so I wanted to go. So we went with, it was me and him, Travis, and then 3 of my sisters, like Amy, Lisa, Lauren, and then my friend at the time, Taylor. We'll call her Taylor, that's not her name, but whatever. And then 2 other people, I think it was, whatever. It was like a big group of people. Beforehand, I was texting Taylor and I was like, oh, like Travis is coming, whatever. And then, it's so weird calling him Taylor or Travis. And then she was like, he's so cute or something. And like, used like the hard eyes or something. And I was like, or like the smirk emoji. And I was like, boy, back off. And then she was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, okay, because like we were a thing. Like it was like, okay, you don't do that. So we went to Horror Nights. We started like, him and I like were holding hands like in the beginning, and then We were all walking together as a group, and frickin' Taylor, she decides to grab his other hand. And I don't know why she did this. I don't understand it. Now that I think about it, like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know why a person would do that. I guess she was playing it off like, haha, like we're just all holding hands, like skip, 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 whatever, fun times. But at the same time, I could tell she was like trying to come at him, and I was like, boy, what are you doing? So we were walking, and he was in the middle of us. I was on the left, she was on the right. He was holding both of our hands. Both of our hands. What? What? Oh my gosh, that was literally the worst moment of my life. I was like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? What? I would walk away and let go of his hand because I was like, I'm not a freaking sister wife. I'm not about to hold on to your hand while you're holding another girl's hand. Like, that's freaking weird. So I let go of his hand. I would walk away, go like ahead in like the front of the group and be like mad because it was annoying. And then he would let go of her hand and follow me and be like, oh, hello. And then come up to me and like hold my hand again. And then she would follow and grab his other hand. And it was so weird. Like, it was mainly her fault because she was grabbing his hand. And so afterwards I texted her, I was like, girl, I don't know what your problem is, but like, you need to stop doing this. And I sent her this like sassy text or whatever, and she was like, oh, I didn't even realize. Like, are you serious? Oh my gosh, I feel so weird. Like, something weird like that. Like, oh, I wasn't trying to be like that. Something stupid like that. But now that I think about it, I shouldn't have gotten mad at her. I mean, that was like so petty. Like, I didn't need to think about that. He was the one who didn't let go of her hand. He wasn't telling her stop. He was just letting it happen, like, for a long time. Like, he wouldn't let go of her hand until I let go of his hand. I was like, what the frick? So I texted him after as well, and I was like, hey, like, just kind of weirded out about what happened with Taylor tonight, like, and he was just like, oh, she just kept coming on to me, and like, I didn't want to feel bad, and like, I didn't want to make her upset, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, boy, this is not a freaking charity, okay? Who gives a crap if she's upset about you not holding her hand? Because you came here with me! So that ended, okay? That day was over. The next day, we went to the Santa Monica Pier, and I didn't go with him. I was with my friends for their birthday, and I knew he was staying right by the pier, so I was like, hey, come hang out. He came to the pier, and he brought with him two people. This blonde girl, and I think it was a guy. And they were like all friends. So we were at the pier, and he got there, and he hugged me, and it was like really awkward. Like, this boy is super touchy. So when he came up to me and like hugged me for like 1 second and then was like let go and was like weird, I was like, and I didn't put it together in the moment that it had to do with the blonde girl. She was like glaring at me, and I was like being like, what the frick? Like, what are you doing? We were both just like, who is this? Because like, he was with both of us at the same time. So I could see like his worlds were coming together, and he was like, she ended up leaving and walking away with her friend, probably because she was annoyed that I was with him. And then I was with him by myself. So then he got back into his like touchy thing and his like flirtatious. The pier, we just hung out for a little bit. He ended up leaving, but the main thing was like the blonde girl. So then he went home. He went back to frickin' whatever he lived in. So he had 2 trips to LA planned. One was like the first week of October, and the second one was like towards the end of October. It was like the 19th or something. There was like 2 weeks between the first trip and the second trip. So towards the first like week after he came, then it was fine. Everything was normal. And then I remember towards the end, like right before he was about to come, then he stopped talking to me as much. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, but whatever, it's not a big deal. So during that time, he was posting all these subtweets, and I was like, what the frick? Because he was one of those internet boys who would, not like Jacob Sartorius, but like if you take Jacob Sartorius and like make him a little more chill, that was like what he was like. So he would post all these like cheesy subtweets, like, oh, like, I don't know, just cheesy stuff that I thought was about me. And he was posting all this stuff, but it was during the week that we weren't talking. So I was like, GTG, like, who is this about? So I started investigating. Basically, I found this girl in his favorites who I started DMing, and she told me that he was having a thing with her. They weren't like full on like talking all the time, but they were like Snapchatting for like a month before that. And she had like met him before, and like he was trying to meet up with her again. She was telling me all this stuff about him, and I was like, okay. So then she told me about this other girl, the one who we went to the pier with. And what are we calling her? Kenzie. I looked at Kenzie's Twitter, and she was favoriting all of his tweets, and he was favoriting all of her tweets. So I was like, oh, okay. So he is having a thing with her and talking to her and having a thing with me. And I was like, what? Like my world came crumbling down. I found the girl Kenzie on Twitter and I didn't talk to her. I was just like, knew she was a thing and I was just like, I hated her. I was like, okay, so he was having a thing first. So I immediately ended it. I remember it was October 19th. I texted him at night. It was like late at night, so he didn't get it till the morning. And I just said this long thing, like basically ending it, like it's over. And shortly after it was over, the girl, Kenzie, I started talking to her. And she told me so much, because we started talking about him, of course. And she was like, oh, we aren't talking anymore. Like he just randomly stopped talking to me like a week ago. And like she would tell me all these details about their thing. And she was saying that he would call her every night. And I was like, boy, what? Because in September, he was calling me and her every single night. I swear, he has freaking magical powers. Like, I don't know how you can do that and like live with yourself, first of all, but second of all, like have the time for that, because he would talk to me like late at night. So I was like, what the heck? It was like identical, the story that she told me about them, like the stuff that he did and like everything that happened, the stuff he said, like all these details, it matched up so perfectly with my story with him, and it was so freaky. Okay, I forgot a really important part of the story. So when Kenzie was telling me all this stuff, she also informed me that at some point when he was in LA with her, I think it was the first weekend, then I was texting him and she was like, oh, who's that? And he told her that I was some girl who thinks that he likes her. So he was like, oh, it's just this girl. She takes everything I say the wrong way. Like, I don't like her. It's really awkward. He was so rude about it and totally lying about it. So I wanted to punch him in the face. So yeah, we stopped talking. Obviously, she stopped talking to him. We became really good friends. So me and Kenzie and me and the Twitter girl are good friends. And then also he got a girlfriend like 2 weeks after that. And him and her are now good friends. So I'm friends with all the girls now. That's the story. I don't hate him. What's up, Travis? That's a cool name. You're gonna laugh about that. We're gonna have a weird text conversation about this video, I guarantee it. I don't hate him. I don't think he's a bad person. He made a huge freaking mistake, but he apologized for it many times afterwards. Like, he would text me like a lot, like every month or so. And at the time, I was like, oh, he's not letting me move on. Like, I was mad about it. But now that I think about it, I think he just felt really bad and he was trying to like actually see if I was okay and like apologize for it. So if you know who he is, which I'm sure a lot of you do, don't tweet him and send him hate, okay? Because he's not evil. He doesn't deserve that. He might have deserved it 2 years ago, but he doesn't deserve it now. Alright. Thanks for watching. If you want me to do more Storytime videos, then leave a comment and let me know. Because I like doing these, so hopefully you do too. Oh, you should listen to the song that this story is written about. Does that make sense? You should listen to the song that is written about him. That's it. It's called Before October's Gone, and I will link it below. It's actually really good. See you later. Don't talk to boys who come on really strong in the first 4 hours of meeting you, because that's sketchy stuff, alright? Take it slow. Protect yourself. Don't be a rat. See ya!